As you gain more experience using 3ds Max, you'll come to appreciate both the flexibility and function that your mouse's right-hand button offers. For example, right-clicking will cancel any command that you might currently be in. Anytime you're in the middle of a command, meaning that you've yet to commit to that operation by letting go of the left mouse button, if you simply right-click while that left button is still down, you'll cancel the command stepping away from the operation. Let's try that with creating a few objects. In the command panel, activate the sphere command, then begin creating one. Now as you pull away, adjusting the sphere's size before letting go of the left mouse, right-click. Doing so cancels the command. Let's also try that with creating a cylinder. We'll go to the cylinder command and begin dragging one out in the view. Once the base has been set, you'll let go of the mouse, push up. Now this is where you're going to want to right-click to cancel. Go ahead and do it. So whenever beginning to make something, if you decide not to do so after all, simply right-click. That right-click to cancel also carries over to when a command is still on or active. Notice that the cylinder command over in the command panel is currently blue, meaning that Max, at the moment, is in a position where it's ready to begin making that particular shape. To exit the command, in other words to turn it off, you'll simply right-click anywhere within the view. There's also a few right-click options when working with spinners. Those are those little up and down arrows that you use to adjust a setting. Let's create and leave a cone on the screen. So we can see both the shaded surface and the layout of the wireframe, let's go ahead and type F4. Okay, over to the Modify column in the command panel. When adjusting a spinner, right-clicking on that spinner while the left mouse is still down will again cancel the operation. Let's try that with adjusting the height segments. I'll make the change, leave the left mouse down, and simply right-click. Why don't we also do that with the radius 2 value? You begin making the adjustment, then change your mind. Leave the left mouse down and right-click. Approaching a spinner and right-clicking on either arrow will automatically take that spinner down to its lowest possible value. Let's take a look at that. Back on the right, find the height segments, then right-click on either of its spinners. The height segments are automatically reduced to the fewest number available, that being 1. Try the same right-click on one of the radius 2 spinners. Now that takes the tip of the cone to a point, taking that value to 0. And with sides, I wonder what the fewest number of sides a cone can have. Let's right-click on that. Well, there's your answer, 3. Let's go ahead and crank that back up a little. As you can see, that lowest possible value will vary all depending on which control you're working on. You'll also find that many of the most useful object commands can be found under the right mouse click. You can, for an example, transform your object by either moving, scaling, and rotating. You can also, using the right mouse click, convert an object into an editable state, thereby eliminating the need to add a modifier. At the top of the menu, you'll find options for hiding, freezing, and isolating an object when there are several things on the screen. If an object's been converted down into an editable state and you're working in the sub-object mode, right-clicking will also make many of the most important sub-object modeling tools available. Now before showing you that, let's go ahead and type Z to get a little bit closer in. Back in the viewport, I'll right-click. You'll find the modeling commands in the left-hand side. So for an example, if I wanted to extrude, I could do so easily from this list. Back in the scene, I'll select a couple polygons. I'll then right-click, enter my extrude command, and away I go. Up on the toolbar, you can quickly open a transformation command's Type in Transform dialog, giving you the opportunity to enter specific values for that given transform. Here we'll move the object by right-clicking on the Move icon. We can rotate right-clicking on the Rotate icon. And we can quickly scale by right-clicking on the Scale button. Max's snapping commands, found more toward the middle of the toolbar, can have their Snap to settings adjusted by, again, simply right-clicking on the respective icon. If wanting to change the Snap to options, we can right-click there. Or if we wanted to, for an example, change the rotation increment with the angle snap, we could right-click on that. Right-clicking on the far right side of the toolbar in the empty area next to the gray teapot will display a series of additional hidden tool sets that can be opened for use. Here's the layers, the snaps, and the dynamic simulation utility, Mass Effects. Moving down to the lower right-hand corner of the interface, right-clicking on any of the viewport navigation icons will open up the configuration controls for your views. While clicking the right mouse on any of the animation playback controls serves as a quick way to open up the time configuration dialog, where things like frame rate and animation length are controlled. So there's quite a bit you can do in 3ds Max with a right mouse click. Now, I may even have left out a few things, so in playing around, right-click every once in a while and see what happens. You may learn something new.